Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 6 of season 4 of our F1 25 driver career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Miami Grand Prix, out of course in the US. If you missed out on the video that went live a few days ago from Jeddah, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. Obviously quite a dramatic race from Jeddah in the end. Andrea Kimi Antonelli absolutely controlled the race at the front until he didn't, without trying to give away too many spoilers to kickstart this episode. But 5 races down so far this campaign. If we take a look at the Drivers' Championship in just a second, it's safe to say things are looking pretty good for us. Things have fallen into place more often than not, hence why we now have a 25-point lead over Lando Norris at the top of the table, and we have won 4 of the opening 5 Grand Prix so far this year. Australia, we got quite lucky. Shanghai, I got incredibly lucky. Japan, I got stupidly lucky, and then Jeddah, again, we got quite lucky inside this game. Lando Norris and myself just seem to be more consistent than everybody else, but Hamilton, to his credit, does seem to, still finishing in the top 6 every single race. Of course, it's a long season, consistency is going to absolutely be key as well, but if we take a quick look at vehicle performance, we are now just behind Aston Martin in that battle as well, so we're doing pretty well early on this season, and of course still my goal at some point is to try and get 99 rated inside this game, because it's one of just 2 achievements I have left to do on F1 25. Of course, if you're new, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed to the channel. We are trying to hit 16k subs here at the moment as well, but yeah, without further ado, let's head out to Miami. Well, it wouldn't be Miami then without some changeable conditions present over the course of the weekend, but let's see what we can do then as we head into a rather dry one-shot qualifying session ready for the sprint race. Of course, the last one-shot qualifyings we did back at Shanghai were a little bit of a disaster for us. I messed up both runs and we ended up right at the rear of the field, so I think anything higher than a back row start today, despite my championship position, would probably actually be quite a success, all things considered, as Hamilton, well, in that Ferrari looking very good there as well, running very, very wide as we try and get the power down out onto the back straight. Of course, this weekend is easily probably going to be the toughest one we've had so far, just because the AI are so good around this venue as well. It is one of their best tracks inside the game. Feels like the sprint weekends, the AI are either OP or terrible. Belgium, they seem to be terrible, but I think pretty much every other one, they are incredibly good inside of this game. There is really trying to attack the curb up through the chicane there and gaining a fair bit of time back on our front runners as well. They're purple through that middle sector as we will drain a load of battery then down in towards the final couple of corners of the lap. Just got to make sure that I keep it clean and tidy, but as always, the AI seem to just be able to run such little aero around this circuit, and I don't quite have that confidence in this V-Carb at the moment. Get the power down on the run back to the line. It is going to be P12 by the end of the session. Honestly, here, with that mistake, I think I'll take it. Well, there we are then. Hamilton, a dominant pole position, half a second clear of Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc. But look at that, Isaac Hadjar up in P5 as the best Honda-powered car this weekend. 0.03 of a second clear of Verstappen. So clearly it's not just me in this V-Carb that can extract mega pace out of it. It has actually been quite a mixed-up grid. Bortoletto there in P9 ahead of Esteban Ocon. This is why I like doing one-shot quali for the sprint weekends. It really does add an extra element of spice to proceedings.
Sitting at the southeastern coast of Florida, the Miami International Autodrome has 19 corners and 3.36 miles of racing. It's a circuit designed to encourage close racing while meeting the highest safety standards. Either way, I'm sure it's one that will please the fans. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Russell, Isaac Hadjar and Albon, Verstappen, Piastri, Bortoletto and Esteban Ocon, Sainz, Mr. Monaco, Nico Hülkenberg and Antonelli, Gasly, Behrman, Yuki Tsunoda, and Franco Colapinto. Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out.
Well, here we are then, ready for the Miami sprint race. 10 laps ahead of us today, and still sunny skies around the circuit. Although for qualifying later on, we're meant to see monsoonal conditions. We had a pretty good start in the last sprint race out in Shanghai. Made up a lot of places on lap 1. So that is the goal, to try and do the same again here today. As the 5 red lights are on then, here in Miami. Ridiculously long hole, but it is going to be lights out and away we go. There is trying to avoid too much wheel spin on the run in towards turn 1 there. I've spotted an avenue around the outside, and we're going to try and take it there immediately, getting a couple of places as Bortoletto and Verstappen go wheel to wheel just in front. And again, we've just got to try and capitalise as we'll get to the outside of the Dutchman. Bortoletto going defensive. Oh, there is not enough grip round there to make that happen. Still side by side with the Red Bull. Feels like every single weekend I end up going wheel to wheel with Max Verstappen there, but really struggling through that corner out onto the back straight. Make sure I don't get up on the curb that time. But I've gained a couple of places then off the start here, as trying to drain a load of battery down this straight. There was even Ocon actually trying to do the same thing there to the outside of Verstappen. Nope, he'll cut me off. So we will dive to the inside then, as Verstappen getting absolutely hounded on this opening lap there. But up 3 places we will go then. It looks like Norris has taken the lead away from Lewis Hamilton, of course. I think Lewis, if he can really get his act together with that Ferrari team, could still end up being a championship threat. But Norris has showcased he's got the consistency so far this season. And of course he's the only other driver, apart from me, still to win a race in this campaign, as I think Hadjar already coming under immense pressure from George Russell as well. So Hadjar actually gained a spot on this opening lap as well there. It would be great to see him get a couple of podium finishes this season as we make our way then out of the final corner. We've survived lap 1. We are right outside of your points, and hopefully, yeah, we're going to be able to move ourselves up inside that top 8 sooner rather than later. We have got a better car than the Sauber, but Bortoletto does seem to come alive in sprint races. Going on here, they're like 2-3 wide as Hadjar suddenly now has got a bit of an opportunity to get away from George Russell and Oscar Piastri. We've got yellows out, someone behind's gone round. That's going to be a red flag, isn't it? Oh, hello. Okay, I thought we might try and be a bit cheeky there and see if we could get past Albon before a red flag is called, but apparently we're not going to get one, as I've got a DRS failure as soon as we were about to get into a DRS zone. That's the second time this season that's happened then. There's a tiny bit of front wing damage coming off the contact with the Williams. It was a bit of an opportunistic move. I will happily agree to that. What is Albon doing? Took about 4 separate guesses to try and get himself into that final corner. As we got another spinner. What is going on there? Hulkenberg now seems to have gone round, and there you go. That's a red flag. Well, hopefully that's going to give the team time to fix the DRS, but
red flag. We'll update you in the pits. Everyone's okay.
2 spins there in half a lap. Miami does seem to be a track where it can be incredibly prominent inside this game, but that's going to mean then that already we're at half distance in this race.
Nice advantage here. Let's have a think about how we handle the rest of this race.
Oh, the team, we do have a set of soft compound tyre, and I don't think we're likely going to use them in the race, so surely half a sprint we can get away with a set of soft compound tyres. Will others have the same idea though? No, they won't, and still the DRS isn't working. 5 red lights. It's going to be lights out, and away we go then once again, and that's around Albon actually getting off to a really good start in towards turn 1. Nowhere to go with it though, as we were trying to look around the outside there, as we got more yellows. What on earth is happening? I think that is a Alpine. I assume that's Jack Doohan breaking down there. No, it must be Colapinto, mustn't it? Obviously in the new patch. As there you go, Franco Colapinto, our first driver out then, I believe, of the Grand Prix, as Bortoletto and Russell just having a bit of a battle with each other. Piastri's done well off that restart as people dive down the inside of the Sauber man and up then into P7 of this race. So another 2 places gained then, but what a chaotic opening 5 laps of the sprint race. And how well are we going to be able to hang on? Still no DRS, so we are going to be a sitting duck down the straights. But, you know, halfway through this sprint, DRS has only been 1 chance to use it so far. Can we get a bit of a run then on George Russell down the back straight? We have got softer, grippier tyres at the moment, and that should mean increased braking performance. There you go, down the inside, and up then into P6 of this race there. Has kept me foot to the floor, even with a little bit of drift through the final corner.
DRS is now enabled.
Yeah, DRS re-enabled, but not for me. So Russell, bit of a half look there down at turn 1, but if I can stick with Hadjar, honestly, I'll take that as a victory. Well, there we go then. By lap 7, finally, we have got DRS re-enabled on this V-carb then. So happy that we are hopefully going to be able to attack our teammate Isaac Hadjar. But honestly, at the moment, I'm trying to play the team game here. So don't know where we're going to be in a fight in the Constructors come the end of the year, but I'm just trying to be a bit of a rear gunner for Hadjar at this stage of the race. And then, obviously, try and get him when I can, as we've got more yellows out. There seems to be another spinner. What is happening here in Miami? As I don't think that one's going to be a red flag, although they are kind of stuck there. I think that's an Aston Martin that's gone round, but yeah, luckily able to get going again. How many cars want to spin out in this race? Although I think it might have been an Aston Martin twice. Well, trying to be a rear gunner for Isaac Hadjar. That's now kind of turned into an excuse for this race because we have got no speed whatsoever at the moment. As there goes Russell and Bortoletto. Oh, down at the end of the back straight. There is Bortoletto. Trying to look down the inside of George as well there, as this is very, very nip and tuck. As everybody just trying to hold on to track position. Yeah, these soft compound tyres I don't really think have been the gamble. They just do not last around this venue.
We're currently investigating.
No. Surely I'm not going to do basically this entire sprint race and then get a mechanical failure. I didn't think you could get a mechanical in the last 2 laps of a race, as there goes Bortoletto once again. Hulkenberg, a 10-second penalty for causing that red flag earlier on means we should be safe from him. But one more lap to go then. Here of the Miami sprint. Are we going to get a mechanical failure? Is it just going to be an ERS fault?
Gearbox issues, I'm afraid. Watch out for jams and misgears.
Is this over? I don't even know if this is like an issue that's going to take us out of the Grand Prix, but maybe that explains our lack of pace this late on in the day. Then I don't think I've ever had a gearbox issue.
Final lap of the race. Final lap.
We've just got to try and stay out there, haven't we? Even if the gearbox goes, I've just got to try and stay where I'm at, as Albon and Bortoletto now having a bit of a battle behind me. But can we just try and hang on to the checkered flag here? Albon now suddenly is getting a huge run on us as we make our way down the back straight there. And well, I'm going to be a sitting duck in defence to him. So there you go, Bortoletto as well, trying to have a look around our outside. Looks like he's picked up some front wing damage, but we're going to have to go for a huge send to the inside of the Sauber car there. A little bit of contact, but we were ahead of the apex. Therefore, it was my corner. But is the gearbox going to hang on this final lap? Are we going to have to try and do a change, though, and take a penalty as we head into the Grand Prix? Surely we've got enough left in it there, as tyre wear warning light now flashing up. It is all going on in this Miami sprint race there. Albon has completely checked out in front of me, as Bortoletto now is going to spend the dying seconds of this race battling with his teammate. Lando Norris, though, is going to win the race in what has been a hugely chaotic sprint to kickstart the weekend. Through the final corner, Hadjar gets some points. We will only end up, though, in 8th place. Well, there we are then. Lando Norris, he will claim sprint race glory to kickstart the weekend there and make good inroads on our World Championship lead. But looking at the final results, just seems like, yeah, McLaren and Ferrari have got a lot more speed than everybody else this weekend. Leclerc comes through for second ahead of Lewis Hamilton and Oscar Piastri. Hadjar, though, best of the rest, a long way clear of George Russell. So my rear gunner tactics worked pretty well there in the end. Albon just ahead of myself, with Bortoletto and Verstappen just inside your top 10, as Hulkenberg, I believe he did finish 10th. But obviously that penalty for him. I know he actually got the better of Bortoletto on the run to the line. So he had finished 9th, as Gasly also got a penalty in that sprint race as well. Chaos to kick the start of the weekend. And I think it's set to continue as we head into real qualifying.
Welcome back to Miami and welcome to qualifying. Only raw speed will separate these drivers today, but the question is, who's got what it takes to get pole?
Well, on that opening shot then, it looked like it was raining sideways here in Miami. These are going to be some of the trickiest and most treacherous conditions I've dealt with inside of this game. And of course, that means that anybody has got an opportunity to try and put their car on pole position. Normally, so far, in the weekends where we have seen changeable conditions, it has absolutely suited us down at VCarb. But we'll wait and see whether that is the case today. Because again, the AI are very, very good around here. And even more so still in the wet conditions, as Lando Norris didn't have the pace in qualifying yesterday. But, you know, Hamilton, Verstappen, two of the greatest drivers in wet conditions. What can they do as well? So we just try to keep the car away from a couple of those big, scary curbs through the exit of Sector 1. Charles Leclerc, always known as well as a driver that will absolutely get it hooked up when the pressure is on, in a way that very few ever are able to kind of emulate and match there. But this is normally where we're really, really good around this lap, and you can see there we make huge inroads on the brakes against the Ferrari man, but through this low-speed stuff, super difficult as the car is trying to slide around underneath you. Oh, really nailed the first apex there, though, kind of understeered, but found the front end through there. And we are very, very close, actually, to Charles Leclerc. I'll take a top 10 come the end of qualifying as we go purple through that middle sector. But now the long run down in towards the final corners. I'm running very, very low wing here, but it is still not quite working for us. Brake at the 150 meter board. Have confidence that the car is going to scroll off speed, meet the apex curve there, and get the power down nice and tidily. Oh, way too much wheel spin, though, as the car's still trying to break free on the exit of the corner. It will be P9, as I'm just happy I kept it out the wall on the run back towards the checkered flag. And there we go then, Charles Leclerc, 1/10 clear of Lando Norris come the end of that qualifying session. George Russell ahead of Hamilton and Verstappen there. So, weirdly, in the rain, probably less surprises than what we saw in the dry yesterday, ready for qualifying. But we will line up in P9. Isaac Hadjar there, really disappointing, I'm sure. Obviously, was, I think, 5th, wasn't it, for the sprint. He will line up down in P19. Problem for me, though, we need to swap out the gearbox because I'm still scared that it's going to fail at some point during this sprint race.
Welcome to the Miami International Autodrome, home of the Miami Grand Prix. This exciting track circumnavigates the Hard Rock Stadium, home to the National Football League outfit, the Miami Dolphins. With great opportunities for wheel-to-wheel battles featuring 19 corners, 3.36 miles long, and expected average speeds of 138 miles an hour, the Miami International Autodrome will be sure to create lots of chances to overtake. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Hamilton, Max Verstappen, and Piastri, Tsunoda, Sainz, Mr. Monaco, and Ollie Behrman, Albon, Gasly, Fernando Alonso, and Ocon, Hülkenberg, Antonelli, Lance Stroll, and Isaac Hadjar. Bortoletto and Franco Colapinto rounds off the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Well, I took a quick look at it. The gearbox was absolutely fine. The wear wasn't that high or anything like that, and what's life without a little bit of risk from time to time as well. I'm not going to take that gearbox penalty. I'm going to go against what I said, because honestly, we're going to be in for a tough race today, whether I take the grid penalties or not. I will just be happy to keep hold of our World Championship lead. Team believe the 2-stop's going to be the way to go, but with red flags, safety cars, everything like that, who knows what's going to happen today here in Miami. Going to start on the mediums, and we'll see how far we can take them as the 5 red lights come on. Oh, mighty long hole, but it is going to be lights out, and away we go there as let's just try and get a clean run in towards turn 1. Sainz again, plenty of grip, but nowhere to take it in towards that first corner. So I get a little bit of a push from behind there, and that almost launched me alongside Yuki Tsunoda there and almost into the back of Max Verstappen as well, a little bit further up. Sainz there, trying to go a bit defensive. I don't think we'll find the grip down into here, but he gets all kind of out of shape, and we will try and see if we can get around him on the exit. No, definitely not the grip there. So we've got someone else now, Ollie Behrman, trying to look down the inside. It's one of the other great British prospects in the future of Formula 1. Has been great to see kind of his turnaround of form towards the end of 2025. I think he's done really well this year. He just got quite unlucky quite often as well. There's going to be 3 wide down at the end of the straight there as well. You can see Verstappen and Russell going wheel to wheel just a little bit further up the order as well. But Charles Leclerc then trying to bolt up at the front of the order as well. Verstappen tried to have a look around the outside there of George Russell, so we will try and do the same thing to Carlos Sainz through the very next corner. Not quite able to get the power down though through the exit, but we will get the drive off of the corner. As to the inside of Sainz there, great momentum out onto the second of the back straights, and well, we will move up then temporarily into 8th spot here. And again, that Williams is an absolute missile in a straight line, so we'll just try and see if we can hang on ahead of him. But yeah, Leclerc leading the way then at the end of lap 1. My 2 closest championship threats though, P2 and P3. There we go, Oscar Piastri then to the outside of George Russell. As well, I really just don't think we've got the pace to, you know, get another podium or anything like that this weekend, unless things really fall into our lap a bit later on. I might try and gamble the 1 stop like we did back at Suzuka, and see if obviously that roll of the dice can work out quite nicely for us as well. Opportunistic move there to the inside of Tsunoda. Whoa! We get a little bit locked wheels on the exit, and that's not a good look between Red Bull and V-Carb. I know we're not kind of sister teams anymore inside this hypothetical timeline like they are IRL. We are free to race those Red Bulls a lot more aggressively, and obviously those Red Bulls, as we saw with Verstappen on a couple of occasions so far this year, are free to race us a lot more aggressively as well.
The body's taken a little damage, just watch out for it.
Yeah, that shouldn't be too much of a cause for concern, to be honest. Not picking up much damage on the underbody, so we should be okay. There we go, Russell again then, trying to get a run on Oscar Piastri. It's going to be a little bit of a sitting duck as we make our way down the back straight. I think the thing is, those McLaren and Mercedes cars, pretty similar in terms of vehicle performance at the moment. I know Lando Norris is kind of trying to keep up with those Ferraris, but it does seem like, yeah, those Ferraris, Verstappen and Norris, kind of bolting away early on there. It's all Piastri. That was an opportunistic look to the outside of Russell down through turn 1. But yeah, this is just a track though, even since they updated the AI a couple of months ago, where they are still impressively fast. They just get a lot of ERS around here, pretty much on every corner exit.
Keep them behind, please. It's critical for our race.
There you go, Mark already thinking about that Red Bull V-Carb rivalry, begging that I try and keep Tsunoda at bay for as long as I can. But that might be quite difficult to do so there, as Yuki does seem to be able to get pretty good drive out onto the back straight, and well, I can only do so much. I can defend into the corners, but if he gets a run on me before that, there's not really a lot I can do when it comes to straight line speed.
The body's incurred some slight damage, but nothing too serious at the moment. Just be careful.
Welcome to 2-3 laps ago, Mark. Not quite sure why he's re-notifying me of that. Sometimes, yeah, Mark can still be incredibly funky inside this game. Let's see if we can try and put a car between Yuki and myself then, as I have a look down the inside of George Russell there, make sure I give him room and avoid contact on the exit. And now look at that, we get the drive off the corner. It's a little bit of a cheeky one. You kind of put the car there and force the guy on the outside just to give you a little bit more space, and I'm sure he would really want to. But it does seem to be rather effective, as down the inside. So far in this race, we're 2 for 2 with that move.
Tyres are degrading fast. We can change strategy if you want. Check your MFD for details.
No, there you go. Russell now again is going to immediately fly back past me, and I think Tsunoda is probably going to have me as well. There you go. Tsunoda's going to go for 2 for the price of 1.
Listen, not to worry. Get your head down and chin up, and let's focus for the rest of this race.
There again tries to defend from him in towards the next corner, but all this is doing is giving Oscar Piastri a bit of room to run away. So Tsunoda beautifully tucks back in underneath the car ahead of him, but I just feel so limited in kind of what we're able to do today, as Mark already recommending, that we try and pit earlier in this race. Seems to be engine temp that's the biggest issue. You spend so much time tucked up behind a faster car, and you just can't do a lot about it. It's again, Russell. Oh, and Yuki, I've missed my braking point. Whoa, that could have been bad. I always really struggle with the braking point down there, and that might mean we're even more now on the back foot. Get towards the end then of lap 9. Mark wants us to dive into the pit lane, but I really want to see what some of these other AI are doing there as Russell and Yuki. They're putting on quite a good show at the moment, but they are really holding us up, actually backing us up into Alexander Albon, who now was basically caught back up to this little gaggle of cars. As there you go, Albon dives into the pit lane. If we could, I would love to extend this stint to about the end of 12 or 13. Problem is, though, tyre wear, I mean, the warning light is probably going to flash up this lap. 58% on that front right-hand tyre. You are really using them all up. The problem is, are the AI, you know, are these better cars looking after their tyres a bit more and therefore kind of compounding the issue? I've got to roll the dice, I think. I'm not too worried if I finish 8th or 9th in this race. If there's an opportunity to try and finish further up the order, I've kind of got to take it. Well, there you go then. Leclerc's staying out. In fact, all 4 of your top runners staying out, so I think they are trying to one-stop this race. So could we try and roll the dice, therefore, and go the other way now? I really don't know. I think we're going to have to, aren't we? The tyres just becoming a little less manageable, and we've got to try and just do something different in this race. It will kind of depend on whether we get a safety car or a red flag or anything like that a bit later on, but we're going to bolt on a set of the hard compound tyres to take us through this second stint. Oh no, Hajar's in as well. Come on, we need a good stop.
Isaac in the pits. Okay, off we go. Back into the race. That was a
the team have got plenty of time to get ready to sort him out, so hopefully Hajar will still have a pretty speedy stop.
One more stop today. 1 stop left in this strategy.
I mean, if by some miracle we could get to the end, I would not complain, but I don't think we're going to be able to take a set of hard tyres 20 laps here. This place is just brutal. We've got yellows, That's a McLaren, that's Norris. Norris has gone round. Is he in the wall? Is he out of the Grand Prix? Whatever it is, please don't be a safety car now, because that'll be insanely unlucky. I think Norris just span. So he is trying to get going again, but as Tsunoda and Russell go by him as well, Norris in huge, huge trouble at this stage of the Grand Prix, as that's got to be the dumbest warning I've ever picked up. Lando Norris gets back going, and well, if I had to pick one car to end up in the walls today, it would have to be the McLaren man. But he's still way out in front of me, but is he going to have to now pit? Did he pick up front wing damage? I've got no idea.
It looks like we might have an issue.
Oh,
Hang in
no,
there. We're attempting
no.
to manage it.
Please, no. Come on, I've just seen Norris have issues. I don't want to then, before this... Well, it's not the same luck, but something else there, as Norris opts to stay out then in this Grand Prix, but we ran into issues in the sprint race. I took a gamble with the gearbox. Is the gearbox potentially going to go?
Car update for you. DRS is offline. We're looking into the problem. Stand by. Okay.
Another DRS issue?
3.6 seconds.
That's a bit annoying, isn't it? Another DRS failure this weekend. That's what, like the 5th time that's happened this year. VCarb need to sort themselves out, because that is a rather frustrating... I mean, we're not getting DRS at the moment. It doesn't matter too much. But it's not reassuring in the back of your mind. Sainz then on a very, very unorthodox strategy in this race so far, but it's working well for him. Both Williams inside your top 10. Can we try and get a run, though, as we make our way down the back straight, as Albon has already pit, and I believe Ocon as well. He is already pit in this race there, as Sainz trying to give me a big old squeeze right up towards the inside wall. Oh, come on, man. Let's not try and do this. I don't know why he's trying to pinch us both. We're on different strategies. Just seems like a bit of a pointless fight, unless he's been asked to try and help his teammate out, as other cars diving into the pit lane. George Russell, Oscar Piastri both in.
7.0 seconds.
So where are we going to re-emerge then? We're going to come back out pretty much with Oscar Piastri, but of course he's going to the end, and I am not. There you go, Norris and Tsunoda then into the pit lane. So those are 2 cars that I could still find myself battling with towards the end of the afternoon. I mean, Lando Norris, unless something crazy happens, we are going to see our 3rd different winner so far of the campaign, but it is critical that we get back ahead of Albon here, ready for the final round of stop, as he will probably undercut me temporarily, but obviously he'll have to go hards. We will go to mediums to the checkered flag, unless, of course, we get a safety car or a red flag or anything like that. It's always in the back of my mind here in Miami. Well, despite not having DRS, we were able to find a way past Carlos Sainz with relative ease. Let's see if we can try and do the same then with Alexander Albon, as we really are just kind of settling in with this Grand Prix at the moment. Everybody is kind of just trying to tick over the laps, stay out of trouble, and just maintain their race strategy. Is talking of that, Esteban Ocon in for his 2nd stop of the day then. So he's trying to go really aggressive really early in that Haas car, but it feels like I've had more laps without DRS than with it so far today. It's rather frustrating, like I said, to keep having these problems with the car. But Russell now 4 seconds back, so I don't think we're going to beat out him by the end of the day. I think he'll just be happy that he's no longer battling with Yuki Tsunoda, because they were really putting on a show early on in this race. As you can see, they're getting right under Albon's gearbox, but not able to do anything with it. There we go, Albon into the pit lane then at the end of lap 18. So, like I said, he'll probably get a decent little undercut on me towards the end of the race. That is going to be my battle towards the checkered flag in this Grand Prix, as I want to take these tyres probably to the end of lap 20, just so we know that the mediums towards the end, we should be able to really push quite aggressively with them. Not going to bother trying to defend from George Russell too much or anything like that. We're on two very different strategies here. If anything, I'd actually try and strategically gain the DRS on him, but it's still not online. How? It's been gone for like 7-8 laps now. When is it going to come back in this Grand Prix? Is there you go, basically inviting Russell to try and find a way through. As Carlos Sainz now still 3.5 seconds back. So yeah, our battle is definitely going to be with the Williams towards the flag. But luckily for me, it looks like Albon's come out in a huge train of cars. Well, this is going to be the moment of truth then, as we get ready to dive into the pit lane at the end of lap 19. Lando Norris there, not too far behind me, but this is going to be the big moment of truth. Where are we going to come back out in this Grand Prix? Or only just getting the car slowed down into the pit lane. As there goes Yuki, there goes Norris. It's Albon. He is the next car behind me, so he's definitely going to get the jump. But it is just a question of by how much. Can we try and close in on the on the softer compounded tyre towards the end of the GP? There goes Albon. There goes Ocon on the run back in towards T1. This is going to be the moment then. So there we go. We've actually come out between them in this Grand Prix, so we can definitely attack Albon. Could we go a second a lap faster than Norris towards the end? I want to believe. As there we go. Finally, the team have gone and fixed the DRS, so they told me I don't need to pit. They can sort it out remotely. Turns out I did need to pit so they could fix it. Well, let's see how easy it is then to jump Albon this time round. Now we've got some DRS once more in this Grand Prix. To be fair, we've taken a fair chunk of time out of Lando on this lap as well, but draining every little drop of battery I possibly got in the wagon. Brake nice and late, 125 metres out. Around the outside of Albon. Oh, get the power down on the exit. And there we go. We're back up and into P8 then of this Grand Prix. Sensibly, I think this is all we're going to be able to do today. But are we going to drag Albon with us? Or can we try and get away from him as Andrea Kimi Antonelli now, new fastest lap of the day, seemingly out of nowhere? So has the Mercedes finally found some pace? 5 laps to go then. Really just trying to manage everything in front and behind us. Antonelli looking very, very strong in that Mercedes. But Norris now has found a way around Yuki Tsunoda. So I'm just trying to work out whether he's going to drag Yuki along to the checkered flag, or whether Yuki is really, really struggling here. But 5 laps to go. Looks like that gamble of not taking penalties might just have worked out well for us at this stage, because the car seems to be all okay. But this is just the harsh reality of the V car. Podiums in every single race so far. I knew it wasn't going to last forever, but this has kind of been the first race where luck hasn't been on our side. I wouldn't say we've been unlucky necessarily, but we just haven't really had things go our way. And especially when the, kind of the best cars can one-stop and we can't, does make things rather awkward. We've got yellows late on in the day. 2 laps remaining after this one, and I think that's Pierre Gasly that is going to become our first retirement of the afternoon. So a heartbreak for Pierre, as after a tough sprint race yesterday, he'd been doing really, really well, but 2 Alpine engines going up in smoke this weekend. Not very reassuring for them. More yellows. We've got more yellows with 1 lap to go. Oh, V-Carb's gone round. Obviously it's got to be Hadjar, because I'm in the other V-Carb. But, well, it's not going to be a red flag, is it? Because we're too late on in the day. But Hadjar has caused chaos as we start the last lap of the Grand Prix. Everybody else is going to be able to try and file their way through. And luckily, unluckily for him, he's had a terrible day after a brilliant sprint race yesterday. But obviously, at the front of the order, though, it is still the Ferraris and Max Verstappen. Problem is, I don't know which Ferrari's leading. Is it Leclerc? Is it Hamilton? I think it's Leclerc, but it might not matter because Verstappen now might be able to get a run on them down in towards the final few corners of the Grand Prix. I don't think he's going to be close enough. So Ferrari, Miami has proved to be a huge Grand Prix weekend for them so far this season. Oh, one of the Ferraris is gone! Who was that at the front of the order then? I don't know which one it was. But either way, Verstappen, at the very last corner of the Grand Prix, is going to claim the victory and become our third different winner of the season and what has been a tough campaign so far for the Dutchman there. I mean, I'm sure there was a replay up on your screens. You guys know who made the mistake. I don't at the moment. My money's on it being Charles Leclerc, because that is the kind of thing Charles Leclerc would do towards the end of a GP there. But having to defend them from Andrea Kimi Antonelli through the final corner. Honestly, a tough old race for us today, but you gotta take the points where you can. P8, I'll have it.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
And in the end, there was no Verstappen. Max Verstappen, he takes victory.
You always look back at a race like this and think, if I'd just made that mistake there or locked up here, there would have been contact. And every one of those overtakes is a moment where you have to absolutely nail it, perfect it, and that's exactly what they're able to do today. Great stuff indeed.
And it's time for that special moment for our special three today. The podium awaits our top three finishers. And for those that have missed the Dutch national anthem, fear not. It's back again because Max Verstappen is back on the top step.
Well, there we are then, taking a look at our final race results. Verstappen claims the victory, and I think it was Lewis Hamilton then that made the mistake down at the final turn. Again, you guys would have seen the replay. I'm going to have to take a look as to what happened in just a moment. Oscar Piastri, decent start to the Grand Prix, kept out of trouble, basically kept to himself. Will finish in P4 there, ahead of Russell, Norris, Tsunoda, myself, and Andrea Kimi Antonelli, with Albon picking up the final point. But yeah, this was just a weekend where Ferrari, Red Bull, McLaren and Mercedes seemed to have the pace and the speed over everybody else. So the fact that we were even able to beat out Andrea Kimi Antonelli, I think we can be quite happy with. Albon just held on ahead of Carlos Sainz, and it was Pierre Gasly, the only driver that failed to see the checkered flag, as Hadjar, he finished an 1/100th of a second behind Franco Colapinto come the end of the GP as well there. What does that do to our World Championship? Well, it means my gap at the top has been slashed to just 14 points now over Lando Norris, but on a weekend where Hamilton could have brought himself right back in the fight, a little error there ultimately cost him. Still ahead of Verstappen and Charles Leclerc though, with Russell just behind Oscar Piastri. Hadjar though, obviously with those points, still in P12, but yeah, he could have been ahead of Pierre Gasly had things gone a little bit better for him. Constructors-wise, Ferrari now 2 clear of McLaren with that big win today. Although, sorry, Ferrari haven't won a race yet so far, have they? But still picking up huge points here as we drop back towards Red Bull's clutches as well. Mercedes just seem to be a little bit off the pace so far this season. Thank you all, though, so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready out at Imola.